The next paper is by Mark Latazar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. And Mark, would you like to share your slides and
Yeah. Good
in the
afternoon.
chat? Good, thank you.
Yeah. Can you see my slides already?
Yes.
It's visible already. Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So my topic is tri-people hybrid conflict resolution approach enabling a culture of peace in Alamada, North Cotabato, Philippines. So good afternoon, good morning, and good evening from the other parts of the world. And of course, from the Philippines, maayong hapon and magandang hapon. So, kalilintad, kalinaw, kapayapaan, peace. Okay, these are the words of different words is a vision which everyone aspire for. So this vision is a desire for the distant past. This is the perception of the Alamajan to live peacefully and productivity. According to the preamble of Constitution of the UNESCO, since war began in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. So Alamada, as one of the town in North Cotabato, Philippines, um, is a municipality which the population comprised of Christians, which over 70% are Roman Catholic, 12% to the other Christian denominations, while the remaining percentage follows Islam and other indigenous tribal religion or Lumad. So this is what we call the tribe people of Alamada. And that's the slide. So Honorable Bartolome Jun Lataza, as a municipal mayor for 3 terms, during his mayoral leadership, he advocates and politically will to promote peace in a micro level because Alamada was in constant conflict, war, and misunderstanding of tribe people. According to him, conflict settlement was not only about ourselves, nor for few people, but generally for the whole community. He wanted to change the political paradigm of politics in Alamada, but it is very challenging because everyone dreams of this peace, but only in words, not in action. So, what is culture of peace? Culture of peace is simply defined. It is a set of attitude, orientation, values, interests, behavior. It is a principle, beliefs, and tradition and lived by any individual and commonly shared by any group of people of a given community. And peace is not just simply as concept but as a whole reality to live by within us, a way of life practice in different levels of relationship in community. Peace means inner stillness and calmness, a sense of well-being. Peace is harmony and cooperation, will be a reality when societies are just and fair to all. In societies exist when conflicts are resolved non-violently and when there are practical efforts made to satisfy the basic needs of people in a fair and reasonable manner. So the culture of peace, therefore, it is the wholeness of life where every one person can live with dignity, where there is an appreciation and respect for the integrity of all persons, a way of life that promotes the well-being of all human beings, regardless of different cultural backgrounds and historicity. And whereas a group of people grow in dignity, self-determination, and service, and solidarity with their fellow human beings. So as a movement, culture of peace is a dynamic process through which live together in an atmosphere marked by diverse cultures, language, traditions, religion, political perspective, intercultural appreciation and understanding, tolerance, or sense of mutual acceptability, solidarity. And this is through tri-people dialogue, interfaith dialogue, ethno-groupings, cooperation. According to the UN, United Nations, culture of peace is a set of values, attitude, modes of behavior, and ways of life that reject violence and prevent conflicts by tackling their root causes to resolve problems through dialogue and negotiation among individual groups and nations. So during the term uh, of Honorable June, his priority thrust is peace building. And because of this, the culture of peace, um, sorry, his priority thrust is peace building because there is a culture of peace, there will be a moral recovery and a livelihood. So that is the three main thrusts: peace building, moral recovery, and livelihood. For him, the culture of peace can be instituted to every person. The gains of each person must be placed in its fitting context, the sustainable improvement of the quality of life for his family, community, and society. In other words, culture of peace culture of peace needs to be primarily geared toward responding to the peaceful self, peaceful family, peaceful community, and peaceful society so that it will not compromise the ability of future generations to meet their needs and security. Any move to elevate the culture of violence must find anchor in each person's effort to promote the culture of peace. This is the framework of culture of peace. First, we need to understand ourselves. Then, try people historical journey. Then also to contextualize rather, and global analysis. And there are challenges for the peace builder here to understand the conflict and the conflict transformation. And there are suggestion, communication, negotiation, mediation, and dialogues to understand the culture of peace, which is the vision. Now, however, since we need to understand the culture of peace, we need also to differentiate it from the culture of violence. There are conflict with assaults. The culture of violence, there are conflict three deals with the visible and invisible conflicts. All we see most of the time is the visible conflicts, which is physical assault, killing, stealing, harassment rather, war, terrorism, etc. But sometimes we neglect the invisible conflict, which is hatred, misunderstanding, and balanced judgment, human rights violation, polarization, etc., which is also part of the culture of violence. War has been the menace in Alamada. It was in 2008 where three barangays of Alamada experienced conflict that ended in bloodshed. 13 houses were burned, people died, and 7 people were badly wounded. Such violence incidents keep on recurring, leaving thousands of innocent people, especially children, to evacuate and displace from their farms and education. So the conflict in Alamada that confronted for the past were the challenges on peace instability such as armed conflict because of the animosity brought about by the history of fighting in Mindanao, territorial and ancestral land dispute, identity and cultural discrimination, environmental threats, criminality, and poverty. In the land conflict, or what we call the Rido, clan conflict, meaning armed conflict and environmental issues were the several conflicts it had been successfully reconciled. Land conflicts in the major conflict in Alamada, but it could be spilled over to Rido and armed conflict. So Rido is a Muslim term for feuds, referred to sporadic outbursts of retaliation violation between families and kinship groups, as well as between communities. That is why there is the tri-people hybrid conflict resolution to address the societal conflict of Alamada launched several peace-building practices that would aim to effectively settle long-time issues and constitute best practices among the community. From a conflict zone turn to a peace zone municipality. And um, June Latasa proudly shares the milestone and struggle behind the total success of achieving peace engagement in Alamada. Together with the Municipal Peace Order Council or MPOC, they observe the RIDO is the grassroots conflict that must be deeply in concern and settled first in Alamada, working together with uh, MPOC using alternative dispute resolution or ADR. The town, the township, the township relationship or the ugnayan ng bayan at the simbahan or mosque were the most practices to reconcile RIDO in Alamada. MPOC purposes to normalize and perform necessary actions on regulating the practices of human rights in the community. Alternative dispute resolution is a reconciliation method encouraged by the Philippine Supreme Court. This method is also experimental in the observance of the Republic Act 9285, otherwise known as the Alternative Dispute Resolution of 2004. Specific interventions like creation of tri-people consultative service desk and recognition of tri-people local governance and processes were primarily given importance by the local chief executive, which is the mayor, in the supporting to the peace-building mechanism in Alamada. The LGU applied that mechanism with combining the informal customary procedure of Moro and people and the indigenous people in settling gaps in their community. This was part of their ways to be more engaged with communities like in Alamada. In strengthening the function of the Municipal Peace and Order Council, where the mayor is the chairperson, they conducted the consultation and interfaith interreligious dialogue, like the dialogue of words, the dialogue of life, the dialogue of actions, a religious experience, the dialogue of actions, and the dialogue of values and cultural interest, adhering to the power of inclusion. This effort got a big respect from religious and traditional institutions. In fact, a council of elders was created, comprised of the traditional elders of all beliefs to make the reconciliation process more inclusive and systematic. As a result, there were at least 18 clans conflict were settled, and later on, there are 5 added, so it becomes 23. One of these including the oldest one of these including is the oldest clan conflict in the municipality that had been preserved for 50 years. That effective implementation of the reconciliation mechanism compelled the declaration of the zone of peace in Alamada. The government and its local partner gathered about more than 10,000 signatures from the various consultation and discussions in the municipality in getting the pulse of the people in the said declaration. According to um, Ustad Ali Sharif, the chairperson of Tri-People Consultative Desk, LGU Alamada, being a peace advocate, I learned to forget my old self as a guerrilla leader. When my brothers was killed due to the land dispute, I brushed away the idea of retaliation. Instead, I entrusted to Allah and to our government the people who were responsible for brothers' death. I believe that peace and development could only be achieved if we understand and love each other as brothers and sisters. End of quote. And also, Sultan Bagil Butig said, Muslim, Christians, and Lumad should unite. In conclusion, the journey of peace, or the peace journey of Alamada of especially the tribe people, towards this culture of peace become fruitful. Alamada is blessed with its abundant natural resources, and they have been championing the protection of environment and ecotourism, like in the picture. So that is Asik-Asik Falls. The water comes from the rock instead of the stream, has emerged and captured national and international attention due to its breathtaking scenery. That essential beauty would be another tourism area in Alamada. The enhancement of its falls nowadays can be freely enjoyed for its publicly open. Asik-Asik was before a surveillance area of revolutionary fully armed group in which made the falls untouched by the locals and enriched by the government's support. So the LGU succeeded conducting a total inclusive dialogue with the rebels force leaders and come up with the peace agreement. Also, we have the Falls. This is the highest and biggest waterfalls in the municipality, and it is located just kilometer away from Asik-Asik Falls. And we have also the first picture they have the Guo Hill View Deck. As a result of the Department of Tourism allocated at least 500 million pesos for the tourism enhancement. This would happen because the community voice was heard and peace-building approaches were conducted. Alamada LGU accomplished in management were grounded from the observation and consultation with local partners and local leaders in Alamada. This action enabled them to produce transformative program. Conflict prevent and promotion like medical, dental service, agricultural support services, animal branding, social services, and joining societies, as well as the proper enforcement of justice system to restore peace and prevent the possible eruption of conflict. Then they also accomplished to execute an integrating peace education in basic and teacher education at all academic institutions in the municipality to include um, all the schools in the area. The journey of Alamada in peace building is very successful until now. The new leaders incorporated the culture of peace in every program of the municipality, and they are now in the process of restorative justice. As Anonymous saying, and I quote, "If one true can change the world, how much more a million thoughts?" And this maxim encouraged all the peace builders to keep contributing their thoughts for peace and reconciliation in their respective peace work. Peace is not just a concept, but it is a choice. Therefore, the promotion of culture of peace is the ethical solution to the culture of violence. That's all, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mark. I'd like to open for questions and comments.